What's going on, everybody? It's been a minute since I've done one of these from my car, but I felt like I had to talk about this. I felt like I had to kind of respond to a video that I posted just yesterday when I am saying that the Snyder cult, the Snyder fandom, the Restore the Snyderverse movement has actually disgraced Zack Snyder. And I want to talk about that a little bit because, honestly, when you get down to it, when you truly think about it, you really have hurt Zack Snyder's name. Now, let's take a look. Prior to Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, nobody really knew who Zack Snyder was. Sure, you may have seen his name on Dawn of the Dead or, say, 300, but even with The Watchmen, people weren't like, this is a Zack Snyder film. Man of Steel came out, and even when they announced Zack Snyder doing Man of Steel, I wasn't like, he's the perfect man for the job. It was more along the lines of, okay, let's kind of look. He did decent with Watchmen, and 300 was really good. That's kind of how it was looked at. So fans, people, the audience, the general audience, still to this day doesn't really know who Zack Snyder is prior to even Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel. Those were the movies that kind of put him on a pedestal in some fashion. Obviously put him on a pedestal for Snyder fans who loved his iterations that he created for Man of Steel and helped create for Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Personally, I think Man of Steel is quite possibly the greatest superhero origin film to ever come out.
You're goddamn right.
But why am I saying that the Snyder fandom, specifically the Snyder cult and those within the Restore the Snyderverse movement, why am I saying that you are the ones that have tarnished Zack Snyder's name? During that time period, we'll say 2014, 15, 16, 17, during those few years, there were things going on at Warner Brothers behind the scenes, backstabbing and conniving ways of trying to get Zack out of doing the DCEU projects and what have you. But we all know that. And we know how horrible and terrible those acts were, especially when you take a look at what happened with Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck. Like, we see that it was just not a good environment. So us as fans, we fought damn hard for artistic integrity. We fought to see the Snyder Cut, the true vision of what Zack Snyder was trying to create in 2017 for Justice League. And it was all hinged, it was all built on that idea of artistic integrity, that idea of we as a fan base and Zack Snyder, we are better than those who made the mess that they made. So we sit here today with a hugely divided fan base for DC. But why is that? You have those who just want to see good DC films. They want to see a universe built and have success that Marvel once had. But then you have a section of the fan base who want to only see what Snyder was creating and be damned any other artist who comes in and does anything. Well, that goes against everything we stood up for and we're fighting for in 2017, 18, 19, and 20. There was a point in time when we as fans would say we are better than Jeff Johns, Toby Emmerich, and John Berg, Josh Whedon. We said we were better than them. Yet here we sit acting like complete assholes in the name of Zack Snyder towards Warner Brothers, towards James Gunn, Peter Safran, DC Studios, what have you. Take a look at the upcoming film Blue Beetle. None of the people involved with Blue Beetle were involved in 2014, 15, 16, 17 with what happened there. Yet, the movement, the fandom, the cult treat the actors, treat those who made the movie like shit. And this is all in the name of Zack Snyder. Let's not forget that people look at you as Snyder fans. They look at you as, yes, the Snyder cult, restore the Snyderverse. Snyder is in every iteration of the name, no matter what people call you or look at you as. Snyder is in that. So when you're representing the Snyderverse fandom, You should be doing it with honor, respect, decency, but that's not what you're doing. Zack Snyder the other day posted that he's excited to go see Blue Beetle. He can't wait to take his kids to go see it. You would think that the fans would say, hey man, we hope you enjoy your time. Go have fun. No, what they decided to do was find a way to twist his words to find reason why he had to have said this. Oh, he had to have said this because he was paid by Warner Brothers. Well, like I said the other day, that is worse. That is worse than him saying he wants to see it because he wants to see it. To sit there and act like him getting paid is better is just asinine. That would mean he's selling his influence, his notoriety for that movie, for Warner Brothers. Then you have people sitting there saying his account was hacked or that there has to be some, like, it's just crazy. There has to be, no, there's no other reason. What you're doing is you're making yourself and your fandom look like a bunch of fools. That is what you're doing. And in turn, because the fandom is built off of one man's name, you in essence are making Zack Snyder look like a fool. You are making it where the general audience, those who like to go see movies, superhero movies, what have you, they don't want to go see a Zack Snyder film because of all of the bullshit that surrounds it. That's what you're doing. The Zack Snyder name 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was becoming a brand. Because the Snyder fandom was honorable, decent, sure you had some few eggs in there that weren't, but the Snyder name was truly becoming a brand, and it was one that could have been bankable, one that you could build off of for years to come. But over the last couple years, that's changed. And I think Netflix should be worried about this a little bit, because when you really get down to it and think about it, you're not going to see the type of return that I think they could get with a Zack Snyder film when Rebel Moon comes out. And that's disappointing. That's upsetting. I like Snyder. I like what he's done. But let's face it, the fandom has really hurt his name, his brand. It falls on you. It falls on you.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm sure there's a lot for you all to say, but let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this with all your friends, family, mothers, fathers, grandfathers, nieces, nephews, and all that jazz. But with all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, listening. I'll talk at all of you later.
That's the way you do it. That's the way you debate.